Happy Crafters, how are you all? Thank you for joining me, Toni Darroch, live in my studio. In today's studio we have a little helper, and this little boy's name is Tom, and he's going to help us today in our studio. He is going to be doing his own thing though. He's been told lots of smiles and lots of creativity, so we're hoping that both of us two can inspire you guys at home to maybe try something new or pick up some pastels or some pens and just have a great afternoon basically. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name obviously is Toni Darroch, and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, and I love anything to do with art, stamps, cards, dies, and my son does too, that's why he's here. So we are going to be doing a live demonstration using the pastels live today. I know a lot of you have got them, and I know a lot of you have bought them over the course of the last few days to see what we're going to do with them. So we're going to do two things. We're going to do a live landscape with no trees and no people. We've stripped it right back, and we're going to keep it super simple, and then we're going to make a card using the pastels too. So it just shows you can use them for both. Bright backgrounds are amazing. So if you are watching over on Facebook, don't forget to pop a comment below. That's where you can win one of the studio makes. And if you are watching over on YouTube, then don't forget to click the subscribe button. This allows everybody to see what we're doing at Stamps by Me, and we can share, create and inspire each other. So I'm going to do pastels, and Tom's going to do
a sunflower.
Oh, Tom's going to do a sunflower, and Tom's got all his art supplies here, and he's got some paper. Do you want to get it all out? He's got his super posh art box. Oh, are you showing everybody? Okay. Tom has his super posh art supplies, and he's going to do a sunflower. So, okay, Tom, I'll leave you to it. You get your paper out. You get your paper out and draw a sunflower, and then show us when you're ready. So, without this little bit of distraction here, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your beautiful pastels. And the pastels that I'm using today are our ones from our Himi collection. So, basically we are in partnership with Himi and Maya, and they are a fabulous art supply company that supply all the things that are completely different to your general day-to-day crafting. And I do encourage all the products on the market that give you something different, make you try something different, things like that. So these are different. I think they're a little bit like Marmite. You're either going to love them or you're going to hate them. But I'm one of those crafters that if I try something, I won't let it get the best of me. I'll see how I can get the most out of it. So I encourage you guys to do the same at home. So as you can see here, I've just taped down my piece of cardstock. And the cardstock that I am using today is this one here. So this is the one that I found the best for pastels. It's pretty inexpensive as well, and you can get it from most high street stores where you got all your crafty goodies from. So it's a Canson, it's a 200 GSM, £120, and it's super smooth, but it can be used for a lot of things, but I found it works perfectly with these pastels. So I've just cut my artwork down to this super small size here, and it's perfect for a card blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and choose the colours. So let's keep it simple. There are no trees and there are no people. So as a starting block, let's just do a little bit of a landscape and maybe a picket fence. Super easy, hey? So I'm just going to go for a couple of the colours. So I'm going to go for, let's go for a dark blue at the top of the skyline, then maybe a little bit lighter. I think we'll go for 3 blues this time. And then on the lower part of our picture, I think I'm going to go for yellow and a little bit darker orange on there. So we'll go with these colours to start with. You know, it's a bit of card, it's a bit of pastel. If we don't quite get it right, do you know what? We can do it again, you know. I know we all like to be perfectionists, but sometimes we're not, and sometimes these things take practice. So I'm going to start. Tom, can you just move your artwork to the side a little bit, just so Mummy can do her a little bit more, darling?
That'll fall off the edge.
It won't, darling, I won't let it, thank you. So I'm just going to go dark at the top, and then I'm going to do 3 shades of blue, and I'm going to bring it down to about a horizon point on there. So I'm just going to go in with this really dark blue, and I'm just going to scribble all the way across there. So when you first start pastels, this is what I found. I've not been doing them very long, and I've been watching lots of YouTube videos. There's some very talented people out there who've basically encouraged me to, you know, stick with it. So, but what you find when you first do it is, it looks like a kid's been doing it. You know, you're doing it and you're thinking, oh my goodness me, where is this going? It's really, really like childlike. But it's not until the end, I would say, where it actually comes to life. So I have done a couple of 1:30 videos using the pastels, and I encourage you to go and have a watch of those, because I thoroughly enjoyed myself, for one, doing them, but two, when I look back now, I think, blooming heck, I really have come on since I actually picked up the pastels originally. So it's really good to try these things, try something different. Card making can become a little bit monotonous, it can become a bit of a blur, it all blends into one another sometimes, doesn't it? So, you know, it's good to try different things. It keeps us on our toes, I would say. So I've just done a block of dark blue and the next shade down, and then I have a lighter one as well, and I'm just going to take this down to about here. So 3 solid lines of colour there. Now if you have got your pastels out with me and you are doing real time with me, that's amazing. Don't forget to post your make on our Eureka fan page, because we love to see everybody's makes. Please don't post it if it's going to be better than mine though. We don't encourage that. So 3 lines of blue. So pretty basic really. So I'm just going to get quite a bit of colour on there if I can. And then on the lower part I'm just going to leave a white space in there because I'm going to blend them together at some point, but I'm just going to go in with a bit of yellow in here. So another block of colour. So I'm just doing it in lines, and I find this is the easiest way. So there's my yellow, and then I'm going to go in with the orange across the bottom. Now I was going to say to you, please make sure you do a scratch on some scrap paper before you go onto your artwork, but you know, practice what you preach, because you sometimes get a contamination of colour on there, and that's what I've done there, but we'll see what we can do with it later when I add my fence. So I'm just going to take this orange down to about here, and I'm going to do a bit of a darker orange across the bottom. So we're a bit stripy at the moment. So get some colour on there if we can. And then we just go with a little bit of a darker orange, just to bring it all together. Like a burnt orange, this one. Get some nice colour on there. Like so. So just pop all the colours back in there. Now, if you want it to be really, really bright, you can go over this a few times. It looks super cool. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend it all together. Now I'm just using a serviette, nothing fancy. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to fold it into parts so I can get a bit of a point on there, like so. And I'm going to start, I always find if you start with your lightest colour first and work up, you won't get the contamination. So I'm going to start with the blue and work up. Let's get this into a nice place, should we say. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, they are so creamy, so be prepared for when you put your first bit of tissue on, you're going to be surprised at how easy they move on the paper. So I'm just going to blend this one out, and I'm going to take it up into the next colour. So you can see how easy the blending, it's lovely, absolutely lovely. And then I'm going to take it up into the darker colour. Then I'm just going to turn my tissue around, and I'm going to just repeat the process until I'm happy I've got a lovely blend on there. So try and get rid of the harsh line between the two colours there. And when I get to this one, I'll do exactly the same. And it's just a case of swapping your tissue out texture in there if you want to. So I'm going to leave that as is because that looks like a beautiful night sky and that's what I'm trying to create. So I'm not going to overwork it because I probably will spoil it because I am like that sometimes. So I'm going to do the same process with the yellow. So when I'm happy it's got a nice blend on there, I'm going to take it then into the orange. And then down into the darker orange. Like so. Okay, I'll just fill that little gap there where my tape is. I'll also end up with a little white line. Like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these two to connect, but I don't want them to contaminate. So I'm just going to pop some white. I'll do my test. Make sure my white's clean. These have been used over the weekend. So just get rid of any excess colour on there. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of white in there. And what this will do is it will connect the colours slightly. And then I'm just going to get my tissue and I'm going to gently rub it out. So it creates the effect of a hue or a haze, if that makes sense. There we go. Let's just get rid of that line there. There we go. So I'm happy with that so far. That's my background. So what we're going to do is we're just going to improvise and we're going to add our own fence. So I have an acrylic block here. And I'm just going to add some basic lines to create my fence. So I'm just going to pop a line in here. And then move my block along, do another line here. So what we'll do is we'll do 3 largish ones. Have you finished your picture, Tom? Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fence as if it's disappearing into the distance. Okay, so Tom's actually done his sunflower. Let's have a look, Tom. Super cool. So what colours have you used?
Orange, green and light orange.
Okay, that's perfect. And are we going to do that as a giveaway? Are you going to give it to somebody for watching the show? You're going to pick a lucky winner? Okay, well done. So I'm just taking the fence as if it's just disappearing into the distance. I'm not being precise with it. My panels are probably not all the same size. Like so. And then we just need to connect them across the top. So I am going to go freehand with this. So I'm just going to maybe, just 1 second. I want to get down. Okay. So I now have a fence that is sort of like disappearing into the distance. And then I'm just going to draw another line across here. And I'm just going to make that into a little bit of a, if I put like some little lines on it, it'll look or suggest it's a barbed wire fencing. Now I am using an 8B pencil for this one. I think they do recommend a 10B, but unfortunately I haven't had the chance to go and get a 10B pencil. So that's just for food for thought. If you are thinking about trying this, then a 10B pencil is probably better. Like so. So let's get some tops on our fence. I'm just going to go ahead again. So what you would do then is, obviously this is casting a silhouette of the fence, so I'm just going to quickly go in and cover. I will go back in and make sure it's a finished project though for whoever wins the project. Okay, I'm just quickly doing it on here for speed. What happens when you use a pencil is it sort of like removes the pastel from underneath. It's really weird. Obviously, if you're doing this at home, you'll be able to take more time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit of a smaller fence underneath to create the appearance of, make it look like it's perspective. Is that the right word? Like it's in perspective. Because at the moment my fence is slightly floating. So I know a lot of you have bought the pastels and are waiting today to see, and did say please keep the first video simple. I think probably this is going to be as simple as it gets, ladies. So get it all coloured in, make it super black if you can. I mean, you can actually go over it with your black pastel if you're confident enough. It's just that the pastels don't have the precision point, and I'd be a little bit scared to go outside of those lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop in a little smaller fence in here. And I'm absolutely just going for it. I'm not going to put myself under any undue pressure at all. I'm just absolutely going for it. So let's maybe make the tops of these posts a little bit rugged so they're not like perfect, because they wouldn't be perfect. And then what we'll do is in the sky, pop some birds in there, shall we? Now, with birds, it's just a suggestion, remember. So I always draw like letters, like the letter C, the letter M, you know, as you would M. Just get some birds in there, some different shaped ones, so they're all on different angles and things like that. Now you could put several of those in there if you wanted to. As if they're flying all over. And then when you remove the outer part, you do end up with something quite good, in my opinion. So how I would naturally finish this one is I would just probably grab a white pencil, and I would add, if it allows me to, I would add a shadow to the grey on here. Now this white is not showing up, unfortunately. I'm going to give it a good old rub. No, it's not showing up. So let's try a gel pen. Oh, it's showing up a little bit better there. You see that? Just a little bit. But I would add a highlight to my fence, make it really dark, add the white highlight, and then you've got a little bit of a masterpiece going on. You could add more birds if you wanted to. The option is absolutely yours. So, you know, give them a go. They're not scary. The results can look absolutely amazing if you give yourself the opportunity. We're not artists, we're not born artists. These things take time. I appreciate that. But it is truly fabulous when you give it to somebody and they'll say, have you done that by yourself? Absolutely, yes, I've done that by myself. So that's the quick one, freehand, just absolutely playing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can make a card using the pastels. So if you're not into sitting and sketching and, you know, experimenting, that's fine too. You can do your cards and things like that, but don't forget, I'm using pastels. You might want to try this technique with your watercolours, get the blend, get the look, you know, just give it a try. You might surprise yourself. So here ahead of time, because I didn't know how long that was going to take, I have just scribbled some colours. So I've gone purple, like a burgundy red, an orangey red, an orange and a yellow. So I'm just going to get my tissue. So this is to create a card. So I'm just going to get my tissue and I'm just going to blend them out, but I'm not going to contaminate the colour. So it looks like those old stamps that you used to get. I'm not taking it right to the edge. I'm just going to go like so. So every time I've blended one, I'm going to swap my colour. I'm going to drag it out as far as it'll at least allow me to. Swap my colour again. It's so funny, this tissue's got like a grain, like a pattern, like a flower, and I'm actually getting the flower in my work. So I'm just going to get the red now and drag the red. But I honestly don't think you would get colours as vibrant as this on a background with anything else. Watercolours, nope. Crayons, nope. The colours really are beautiful and bright, and if you want to create a bit of a wow. So as you can see there. And then we'll just do the yellow. Now, you could do it all the way to the edge if you wanted to. There is no right or wrong way. You could do the ombre effect we did the other day. I'm just going up all the way up, making sure I've got that lovely colour. There we go. So this is like our bit of a background, a little bit different to what we would traditionally do. So you can seal your projects with hairspray, inexpensive 49p hairspray from the shelves in the supermarket. That seals it wonderfully. Other than that, maybe Crafters Companion ones, they seal them too. So that's that. So now here's the great thing. We've all got stencils. I'm using one of our beautiful creeper ones here. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a silhouette, a creeping tree, like so. So I have a blending tool and I have my black ink. So I'm just going to push this black ink through this stencil, and then you can see instantly how beautiful this comes to life. I'm pouncing on this one because it is a very detailed stencil. It's one of the ones that were launched earlier in the year, and I use it all the time, as you all know, but you know, it's very detailed. So if you have got this stencil or something similar, I always find that pouncing's a little bit better than. And then you get this sort of look. So and then we twist it around a little bit. Shall we just do it from one side? I think we'll just go with it from one side. So there's 3 sizes in here. There's like a tiny one here which we'll use up in the corner. So I'm absolutely just taking my time with it. Now, if you'd have done it first in say a pale grey ink pad, then slightly moved the stencil, you would have had a drop shadow. And that was my intention. But Speedy Gonzales here got ahead of herself and just went straight in with the black. But it would look fabulous if you did that yourselves. So we have like a sunset silhouette without even a suggestion of a sun. It's fabulous. So I'm just going to take this tiny one up here. I'm just going to pop it over this little corner here. Just pop a bit of detail in that corner. Like so. And then I'm just going to dry that off with my gun. Stop the mucky marks. You can use your oil stubs, your blendable stubs and your blending solution with these. I'm not sure on what result you would get. I haven't personally tried them, so I can't really recommend or guide you on that, but I have seen people do it. So I would say try it. If it works, amazing. If it doesn't, you know, you try something else. So I'm just going to dry this one off. So as promised, I am going to seal it. So I've just got some hairspray here and I am just going to seal it before I do anything else to this card. There we go, that's that sealed, so that's not going anywhere now. I'm just going to give it a second. At least the card will smell nice. So I have a top folding note card here. And we have, let's get some glue. I'm just going to pop this straight onto this craft coloured note card here. And then what I did ahead of time was I cut happy birthday from the members gift, and I'm just going to pop this on the lower part of the card. And this is going to be like the quickest card I think I've ever made in my life. But if you are batch making your cards, which I know a lot of you do, and I know a lot of you already do charity work and things, so you do need to make cards quite fast. Maybe chop up the colours, just change the colour variation, and then you'll have loads of different cards. Now I'm just going to let that dry itself naturally. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't want to smudge it. The lucky winner will be able to do as they please with it when they get it. So there we have two completely different looking cards. Freehand playing, just going for it, and then one that's making a beautiful card. So whatever you've got in your stash, don't switch off if you haven't got these in your stash. You know, I'm not here to hard sell. Maybe use some of the other lovely products that you've got within your stash. My encouragement, my time is to encourage you to have a bit of self-time for yourself, enjoy what you do. You know, life is sometimes tough, sometimes busy, and even if it's just half an hour to yourself, it'll definitely put a smile on your own face for one, and then when you give somebody the project, they'll be smiling too. So whatever you're doing this evening, stay safe, stay cosy, and I will catch you all on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Have a great day, everybody. See you later. Bye.